over time. It's I think accurate to say that quite honestly, once she gets done telling you her story, you're going to quickly recognize the value that she utilized this tool to make some critical decisions about the future, which each of you will have to make, whether it be with your business, starting your business, or whether it just be with career objectives in general. And so with that, I ask Julie to come forward and kind of talk to us about your business and then a little bit about how you use SWOT analysis.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's funny, when David and Annika talked to me about this, I used SWOT analysis before we moved here to make the decision to move here and didn't even know I was using it. It was the old-fashioned thing called the list of pros and cons. And you know, this is a great tool, and it just seems a little more modern than writing down the pros and cons of everything. But my husband and I did this, actually, use the SWOT approach in our personal life before we, you know, weighed the SWOT program against our business opportunities, you know, because there's a lot of ups and downs and unknowns about moving your family, and you know, we decided to do that. We did it with the list of pros and cons. Honestly, that was our final decision maker. We have 3 kids, ranging from 14 to 5, and we moved about 3 years ago, so that was a pretty big move for our kids. They'd gone to the same small school in Wyoming, you know, for their whole lives, lived in the same small community. So I actually, you were talking about insurance, I was an insurance adjuster for State Farm Insurance for about 17 years, which was a great job. It was a great company to work for, had great benefits. Sounds like my list of weaknesses and threats are growing. But the opportunity of being business owners, you know, was very appealing to us. My husband had worked for the company, and our now business partner had worked for the company for a number of years. My job provided our benefits, so that was, you know, definitely a concern to us. But when we weighed all the pros and cons and, you know, the items that you find in the SWOT approach, we just decided it was an important thing for us to do, and we weren't getting any younger, so we decided to do it. With our personal life, you know, it made sense to us for the things we wanted. Money wasn't the most important thing to us, you know, as when we weighed that against having our kids grow up in an economy where you can afford to buy property. You know, we bought an old farmstead when we moved here that was in foreclosure and was dilapidated. There was coons living in the house, and it was gross. It was nasty. But we bought that here easily, and that property, it was 30 acres and a house and a barn. That property in Wyoming would have been, even in the condition it was in, it would have been probably nearly $1 million in the area that we lived in. So, you know, there was no way to give our kids the kind of environment to grow up in that Jeff and I had, my husband and I had as kids in a rural community, you know, with livestock and horses and, you know, all the things that we grew up with. So that was a big draw for us to come here. You could afford to buy property here and still have that, you know, the small town upbringing for your kids. So that was a major part of our decision. And what drew us to Parkston is our partner. He and Jeff took over the company when the folks that had it, that they worked for years, were ready to retire. They bought the company from them. And Ryan, our partner, lived in Parkston and had a small satellite office for the company in Parkston. And the main office and shop were located in Wyoming. And it was just too difficult for them. They tried it for a year to, both of them manage the company and be 600 miles apart. It was just difficult. And we also have a feedlot down by Wagner that we're partners on, and that was here. So Jeff was coming here, you know, every month or two, and, you know, in the times in between, our partner was having to do all the work with that. And in Wyoming, my husband was doing all the work, you know, with the shop and everything as trucks came through or trailers came through. So they really just needed to be together where they could help each other out. So that was one of the big strengths, probably the most obvious strength for our business, was for the two of them to be together and be able to help each other out. Another one of the strengths that we found were our business, it does not really matter where we're located. We have 2 divisions. We have a livestock division and a heavy equipment hauling division. And we haul pretty much coast to coast, so our customers don't really care where we're located. And as we looked at this area closer, you know, it is a pretty good location, and that's one of the things that was unknown is what business we would gain from coming here. You know, we didn't haul grain when we moved here, and all of a sudden we had all these calls after we got here, people wanting to know if we hauled grain, so we're like, oh, I guess we better haul grain. So now we have one grain trailer, and it's as busy as we can keep it, so that turned into be one of the opportunities that we found when we came here. Some of the weaknesses, we've really struggled with employees, finding employees that, you know, want to work and that are dependable employees. We have a great group now, but we've really struggled to find drivers, and I don't think that has anything to do with where we're at geographically. I think we have that same struggle if we were in Wyoming. Another weakness that we have found, well, I don't know that it's a weakness, it's more of a threat, I feel, personally, after how the election turned out last night especially, with benefits. You know, we did not know, that was one of the unknowns that we faced coming here, we did not know what the challenges were going to be with offering benefits and health insurance plans. It was important to us to have that because we knew, you know, how important health insurance is just from our personal experiences, and we wanted to be able to offer that to employees. So, and that's where I'm going after I talk with you guys, is to a meeting with our insurance carrier, just to try to find a way to not trim down our health insurance benefits, you know, and just weighing the value of those, because they go up astronomically. So if you're starting your own business and going to have employees, really take a hard look at that, and I would recommend that you have a plan in mind with what you want to do with costs and everything before you even hire anybody, because, you know, nothing stinks worse than to think you got a great job or your dream job, like you said, with great benefits and everything, and then the next year at renewal they go, sorry, we don't have health insurance anymore because we can't afford it. So I think that's an important thing to take a look at. Our health program, just to give you an idea, went up 13% last year, and it went up 15.5% this year. And, you know, we could trim our plan down excessively and save about $200 a month for a far less plan. So it's really frustrating. Let's see, what else?
Can you talk to us a little bit about government regulations?
Yeah, well, that's a threat, no. It's looming out there all the time. But, you know, that didn't really weigh heavily on our decision to move the business to South Dakota, but we do face that. Regardless of where you're located geographically, you answer to the Department of Transportation, and you have to have a great deal of trust in your employees, you know, especially when they're not right there where you can look at them and see them every day and know their values and know how, you know, their work ethic is. You know, you're sending them out on the road with a couple $100,000 worth of equipment and hoping that they're responsible and that they're a safe driver, and